Don't you want some attachment, some love?
From a stud?
Well, then why are you with Clark?
He's a wonderful lover.
Clark's a homosexual.
He's creative.
Rita, don't you think the basis of a relationship should be some mutual understanding? Or...
Listen, Leela, this entire society is based on the phallic principle.
No, we always agreed to be absolutely honest with each other. It wouldn't have been very honest if you had left without letting me know until the last minute. Yes, that would have been cruel. This way I had time to get used to the idea and to understand.
And so are you.
I'm not a dime a dozen. I'm Willie Loman, and you're Biff Loman.
Pop, I'm not a leader of men, and neither are you. You were never anything but a hard-working drummer who landed in the ash can like all the rest of them. I'm $1 an hour, Willie. I tried 7 states and couldn't raise it. $1 an hour. Do you gather my meaning?
Vengeful, spiteful.
I'm nothing, Pop. I'm nothing. Can't you understand that?
That fool, can't you keep your mouth shut? We may hate you for what you've done to us here this time, but we remember the other times when you brought kindness and laughter instead of death. We don't want to know anything that will make us help send you to the chair.
Oh, shut up, you yellow faker. Can't you face a thing? Wouldn't I deserve the chair, too, if I... It's worse if you kill someone and they have to go on living. I'd welcome the chair. I'd wipe it out. It'd square me with myself.
I wish you'd get rid of that bastard, Larry. I can't have him pretending there's anything in common between him and me. It's what's in your heart that counts.
Well, what the hell do you think? Anybody's got it better than you? I never had a home either. I'm looking, too.
So what?
So you're it. You're home for me, a place to live. That's the whole parade. Sickness eating out your heart. Sometimes you meet a girl, she stops it. That's love. So take a chance. Be with me, Paradise. What's to lose?
My pride.
What the hell do you want? Say the word and I'll tango on a dime. Don't give me ice when your heart's on fire.
Where are the periods, the colons, the semicolons, the question marks? Where?
Oh, he's just writing, mister.
Perhaps he's put all the punctuation on the last page. No, I do not see them. In the middle, perhaps. They must be stored in the middle. No, they are not in the middle. So I will shake the pages. Let's see if they fall out.
Look up, speak nicely, and don't twiddle your fingers.
We're all mad.
The rule is jam yesterday, jam tomorrow, but never jam today.
Mine is a long and a sad tale.
Why do you call it sad?
Let me sing you a song. Everybody who's heard me sing it, either it brings tears to their eyes or else...
Or else what?
Or else it doesn't, you know.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I'm very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between heaven and earth? We are arrant knaves all. Believe, none of us!
Oh, he's coming for me. This is what I was born to do. This is for Mom and Dad. This is for Scott. This is for Mrs. McElroy. This is for me. I'm here. I'm home. I'm safe.
The Manhattan Project and subsequent unique events are facts of history. However, this play is not a recitation of actual events. It is fictional in its concept and its characters and their associations are the author's own creation.
Evie?
I want to face them.
It's a first reaction. It was my first reaction. Don't trust it.
I want to face them, Billy.
I'll have all my records here moved over to my office. Anything that might be relevant, anything our lawyers can use, letters, receipts, calendars, photographs.
Billy, am I going to learn anything new about you?
I hope so.
I don't.
Mrs. Ewing, take these files. We're going to have to disembowel this office. I want to see everything.
I'll only say this once, and then I won't bother you. But I think the country's got to be pretty ungrateful if, after what you've done for them, they can do this kind of thing to you. That's my opinion.
I can't react to that, Mrs. Ewing. It'll just have to be thank you. Let's see what we've got.
He's here.
Let him wait.
How do you want it handled?
I'm not sitting here waiting for him. There are important events here he doesn't control. Some things move without his guiding hand. I might be occupied with any one of those matters, isn't it so?
Yes.
Is he alone?
No, sir. I assume it's Mrs. Benjamin with him.
He brought Evelyn. That shows he's no genius. If he were, he'd bring a lawyer. All right. No, wait.
Why would he bring a lawyer if he doesn't know?
Geniuses are supposed to know. Here, carry this. Look busy. I want to see him, not the woman. All right. Oh, wait. Are we loaded?
An hour's worth?
Won't take that long. And go into another office so the wife won't hear you. And call Hoover and Bowman at the Air Force and the White House. Tell them the meeting's taking place and I'm reading Benjamin the letter. Well, all right.
How are you, Coleman? Are you civilian or military today?
Good afternoon, Reggie.
Should I salute? Ah.
What'd you say?
When I know I'm being recorded, I sometimes break into song.
It's prudent for both of us. It's routine, just routine. How's Evelyn?
Immediately outside, wondering why you didn't routinely step out, say hello.
When we finish this?
Then let's finish.
I have this. This isn't pleasant for me.
Then avoid it.
No, that's exactly what you... Dr. Benjamin, a registered copy of this letter will be delivered to your possession. Today's date, Office of the General Manager, Atomic Energy Commission. Dear Dr. Benjamin, Section 10 of the Atomic Energy Act places upon the Commission the responsibility for assuring that individuals are employed by the Commission only when such employment will not endanger the common defense and security.
Noted.
The Atomic Energy Act, along with additional executive orders specified below, requires the suspension of employment of any individual where there exists information indicating that his employment may not be clearly consistent with the interests of the national security.
Unnecessary.
What? You want to make a comment?
Turn it off.
No, I can't do that. You wish to make a statement? Well, on the record, do you wish to make a statement? Because if you wish to make a statement...
Good God, Coleman, you've made it clear. Go on.
I want you to know that you
want my life all wrapped up. Go on.
As a result of additional investigation as to your character, associations, and loyalty, and review of your personnel security file, there has developed considerable question whether your continued employment on commission work will endanger the common defense and security, and whether such employment is clearly consistent with the interests of national security. The substance of the information which raises the question of your eligibility for employment on...
Have a hearing. Is that what I go through?
Employment on Atomic Energy Commission work is as follows. It was reported that in 1940, you were listed as a sponsor of the Friends of Asia, an organization which was characterized in 1944 as a communist front organization by the House on American...
Do you want my resignation?
That would avoid the hearing.
What's your preference, Coleman? Have you got hell all planned out for me? What do you want?
You may resign. You may request a hearing.
I want the hearing.
It was further reported that in 1940, your name was included on the letterhead of the National Committee for Democracy as a member of its National Executive Committee. This organization was characterized in 1942 by the House Un-American Activities Committee as a communist front, which defended communist teachers. It was further reported that you stated in 1943 that you were not a communist, but had probably belonged to every communist front organization on the West Coast, and had signed many petitions in which communists were interested. It was further reported that in 1943 and previously, you maintained an intimate relationship with Dr. Ann Starr, a member of the Communist Party in San Francisco, and that Dr. Starr was partially responsible for your association with Communist Front groups. It was reported that your wife, Evelyn Hoffa Benjamin, was formerly the wife of Matthew Gallinow, a member of the Communist Party who was killed in Spain in 1937, fighting for the Spanish Republican Army. It was further reported that during the period of her association with Matthew Gallinow, your wife became a member of the Communist Party. The Communist Party has been designated by the Attorney General of the United States as a subversive organization.
It was reported that you attended the housewarming party at the home of John and Hyle Novotny on September 20, 1941, for which there was an admission charge for the benefit of the people's world, and that at this party you were in the company of Alfred Sklar and Edward Ferdinand, who were alleged to be members of the Communist Party and to have engaged in espionage on behalf of the Soviet Union. It was further reported that you informed FBI officials in 1949 that you had no recollection that you had attended such a party. It was also reported that during the period 1942 to 1945, you were consistently...
Evie?
When I married you, I want to tell them this. When I married you, hell, you didn't even have a telephone. You didn't even have a radio. I want to tell them that.
That I was electronically deprived?
Would you tell the panel whether or not you owned a radio before your marriage, Dr. Benjamin?
Billy, am I going to learn anything new about you?
I hope so.
I don't.
Would you also include the information about your telephone, Doctor?
I beg your pardon. You say you did not have a radio?
No, no radio. I think we can produce a sales slip. Not for a radio, that was for a phonograph.
I think the doctor's word on the radio ought to be honored.
We can put the phonograph in evidence.
My client has admitted the phonograph and the telephone.
But not the radio.
There were electric lights. Mrs. Ewing?
Electric what, Doctor?
No radio, sir.
Is this the machine?
Yes, sir. That's the one you've used before.
What did I schedule for today?
You'd left the morning free, Doctor. There's a group lunch with the directors and assistants, a meeting with Dr. Lasker at 4, and a speaking engagement this evening.
Cancel. Well, it will all have to be canceled, Mrs. Ewing, but just cancel the lunch for now. I think I'm going to need you.
Yes, sir. Do you want me to clip the stories in the paper this morning about this? About you? I'm sure it's going to be all right. When will they have the hearings? Sir?
I don't know. Why should I waste my time with you? Machine, I don't like you. Machine, I don't like you. I have always worked in the best interests. I do not consent to these proceedings. One of the gods is angry. I think I have offended one. List awards give educational background, theoretical contributions to physics. No, special pleading. Communists I have known and loved. No. Yes. Some of the names on the letter of charges are unfamiliar to me. Some of these names are unauthorized. I resent being condemned by letterhead. It's a badly designed machine. It fights the hand. I'll be with you in a minute.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
The tape was on the machine.
You cut it out.
Machine, I don't like you. And I don't hate your machine. Mrs. Ewing, I want you to first find the minutes of the scientific panel, the interim committee, meeting in Los Alamos, the end of May, the 31st of May, 1945. I want you to find all papers regarding my chairmanship of the General Advisory Commission meeting through 1948, 1949. If I can get my classified papers. I'm not even permitted to read my own papers.
I'll try to get them.
In regard to the interim committee, all casualty estimates were based on per capita rates per ton of TNT among warned and sheltered populations. It is axiomatic that we were far from the site. We had no control over the absence of warning and adequate shelter.
I'm very frightened, Dr. Benjamin.
Are you?
I'm very frightened for you.
I'm very frightened for me.
Don't grovel for them. Don't relinquish your intelligence. You're pushing us into their clutches. The bomb can be demonstrated with no loss of life whatsoever.
You sold me that first bomb. It was bad goods, bad goods. You made me a party to it. I have every right to despise you.
The problems are the good ones, the big ones, that you brainy guys are always whining for. I give you all the money you need, all the equipment, and you pick up the prizes. But you listen to me, Benji. I hold you in my hands like a bird. So when I speak, you listen, or we build the thing without you. We have got to settle this security thing. They want the name.
The man did nothing.
They want the name.
Their problems aren't my problems.
Give the name.
Sins proliferate. Order me. I've got too much invested here.
In a minute, I will order you.
I do not consent to these proceedings.
I would never consent to these proceedings in any way. What has the young man done? Here.
He's had himself born in Russia. That's a mistake. His parents...
This is the young man who did the paper and particle analysis.
Yes, yes. Now they're withholding his security clearance because they...
And he
feel-
cooperates with this hearing?
Well,
He allows it?
in order to work with us.
You see? No. By cooperating, he's agreeing that they have the right to question his ancestry and his beliefs. Don't cooperate. Where's the freedom? If you want to help him.
We want to continue his grant, but without a clearance.
Refuse to play that game. I understand his problem. I see you're eager to have him okayed, but to permit political inquiry.
Well, I would agree with you if this were a congressional investigation.
Is that different? This is not political inquiry?
It's a secret hearing. There's no publicity.
Dear one, it's political. The motivation for such a system is political. It's evil.
I would dispute that. You see, he's caught in a very impersonal system, this bureaucratic machinery. It's another thing. It has its cycle and goes away. But I agree with you. One should not cooperate in a malevolent investigation.
One should not. Neither should you. Say again that word. Malevolent?
Boshaft.
Ah. Vindictive. Malice. So we say it's one thing to be given over into evil hands, another for the tangling of procedures. The intent of these bureaucratic procedures is not malicious, so we should allow them. William, you have the skill to separate a procedure from its reason. You can separate an act from the intention. What I might call seduction, you would call orgasm. To make that separation is very complex. So complicated for me. But we must help the young man some way. And how do we do that? You want me to write a letter?
I think it would surely help.
I'm a factory for letters. How few scientists have become men of letters. If you would send your stenographer to me, I can say something, what I know of his work. Something tired. Having never applied for the clearance, I, of course, have no data. The universe, by luck, is not top secret. But I haven't been able to explain it.
You've explained it better than anyone.
It would have been better to be blinded than to be made mute.
Imar, the more personal it can be, the better. The problem with these security hearings is to get the examiners to view you as a person instead of paperwork.
What is that word? Boshaft?
Malevolent?
Malevolent. Dear, if your examiner refuses to view you as a person, isn't he malevolent? Isn't some malevolence there operative?
I would say fear is operative.
You see, you grasped these distinctions that are too complex for me. Fear and Boshaft. I would have equated them. They are afraid of us, William, and they hate us. Why put ourselves in their hands? Will you testify for him?
Yes, if I'm free.
Tell him from me, don't cooperate. Don't accord them the right to investigate. Don't apologize for thinking, for being a thinking animal. It's the first forfeiture. A terrible one. A terrifying, terrible forfeiture. But I don't know the young man, and I'll write the letter.
Good. Thank you, Imar.
The proper behavior when one is assisting in an execution is that you never accept the thanks of the condemned man.
But you'll be helping him. Tell me, when will we have more music?
Music. Sour music. Fingers for letters. No more music. Look what you did with the bomb from my letters. My letters. Very simple writing. They've killed thousands. More than thousands. All my lovely white horses have been teamed to your engines of destruction. Wednesday. Friday, too. And bring your fiddle.
All right. If I'm not flying somewhere.
All it takes is to say no. Tell the young man.
Who are we talking about, Aymar?
It was about some young scientist.
But I remember it now.
All my lovely white horses.
I do not consent to these proceedings.
One of the gods is angry. I think I have offended one.
What do you have to gain by emasculating the commission chairman at a public hearing?
The Air Force wants its super bomb. You must not deny them that.
Let me count the ways.
One of the gods is angry. I think I have offended one.
Or two. Bomb droppers. Pigeons of death.
List awards.
You can do that, Mrs. Ewing. List the awards.
Yes, Doctor.
Fellowships, honorary doctorates, board of overseers, Légion d'honneur, so forth.
Little background.
Do that.
Theoretical contributions to physics.
No.
No. Special pleading.
Dear General Chamberlain, this
Copy
is
of
an
this
answer to your
diamond
letter
logo.
of date in which the question is raised
Yes.
whether my continued employment as consultant for the Atomic Energy Commission will, quote, endanger the common defense and security, and whether such continued employment is consistent with the interests of national security, end quote. Paragraph. It never pays to forget, Mrs. Ewing, who the bastards are. Paragraph. Though, of course, and they'll have to fight me, Mrs. Ewing. Though, of course, I would have no desire, and they'll kill me. Though, of course, I would have no desire to retain an advisory position if my advice were not needed.
I feel you pushing, Benji.
I cannot ignore the questions you have raised, nor accept the suggestions that I am unfit for public service. Basic facts, birth, schools.
He stands between. Who else is there to trust, Besh?
My friends, both in Los Alamos and in Berkeley, were faculty people. Scientists, classicists, and artists.
Where is the Frank Committee report? We should have that document in front of us. What have you done with it, Benji? It was sent to you days ago. What kind of trick is this?
We all know it's unhappy work.
Why must we use it? You must give us a case that we can believe, Benji. We want to trust you.
You keep asking me to prove my case. I have no case. But I think if we say we will not use the bomb, we have to be unanimous and convincing that the cost of using it outweighs the cost in money, time, and life if we don't.
The Frank report convinces. It convinces. Where is it?
I don't have it, Lee.
What's your own position, Benji?
Don't let the long hairs pull us down, friend. It's military money. It's a military decision.
I think I can be of more use to you if I simply guide the discussions until later.
You guide with a hand of iron, Benji. I'd prefer to know your position now.
2 bombs. and the war's over. Otherwise, we have to go the invasion route. When we have the bomb, how can we justify that?
All right, I can put it very simply. It's a defined condition. It's a ritual laid out like the Last Supper. Everyone has a part to play. The device is going to work, isn't it, Eugene?
It will work elegantly.
If used, it will work.
Explain the ritual.
We've been suffered to put together this sweet package for the purpose of a larger design. And none of us is a bomber, but we made a bomb. Now the ritual says to suffer its use. It's bar mitzvah time.
No.
That exists,
yes.
Yes.
No, I don't think that
Absolutely. We all accepted it. When you build a bomb, you accept the possibility of detonation.
Under certain conditions.
Lee, you yourself asked Al Borg to write to Roosevelt to get this project started. The poor man never got over that letter. Was it because you wanted to keep your own research funded? Or was it because you feared and hated Hitler so much because he hated you? And now you find you don't hate the Japanese quite enough.
There's some truth in it, but only some.
I would love to think that Hitler hated me personally.
No, Eugene, that only comes after one knows you for a substantial period of time.
The bomb was built because of its explosive potential, no doubt.
But shouldn't we control that? Besh and his generals have taken the control away. Lee, you know better. You want to hold on to it, but you can't.
If we don't drop it, why have we done all this? Who are we? I hold you in my hands, Benji.
I am called here to make a decision. If it doesn't matter, why am I called here? Just to legitimize the military?
The bomb can be demonstrated, as I've shown, with no loss of life whatsoever. The Japanese have good men there. Sagani would know and understand. Yoshinoshina would understand. They would send Sagani Onishina, we would explode the thing in the desert, and he would go back and tell them that we could in one day make a world without a Japan in it. You always see everything in a political context. War is not political, it's religious. Even logic is irrelevant. Look, I can show you what logic there is. If we demonstrated the bomb and it failed, we'd create an atmosphere of disbelief. The psychological certainty of destruction would be lost forever. And look at our inventory. We only have one test bomb for July, then only two more. 2 bombs to use the most effective way. Another point. If we set up a demonstration where there are no structures, sand or water or an uninhabited island, we'd never be able to show the impact of destruction.
Warn them to evacuate a city and then drop the bomb on the structures.
No, if we did that, they'd fill their city with prisoners of war. No. Even in the desert, Sagani or Nishina would understand. Professor Sagani, Professor Nishina would go slide rule in hand to the Japanese cabinet, to the Japanese military. How much luck are you having, Lee? And you only want to stop the bomb. Do you think 2 little Japanese physicists can stop the war?
An absurdity. And I'm in pain, Benji, because I'm not as persuasive as you. But that report will say...
I'm told from the military that our only alternative to an invasion is to use the bomb. If we invade, the cost in lives will be 10 times...
We're bombing the hell from them with fire bombs. Why invade?
That was my question.
And what was your answer?
I'm not a joint of the Joint Chiefs. They say we end the war in one stroke with our child. If not, we have to continue on the Japanese mainland. Invasion, incendiary bombings. Look, would you accept another Tokyo firestorm? 100,000 people broiled in one night? Ours, I estimate, only 20,000. Only 20,000.
The implications of our bomb are much worse. You know this, of course. Why are you telling us the Joint Chiefs' problems? We make our recommendations on our own.
Because nobody is going to give weight to those implications when the potential loss in lives and time and material is so enormous. Take a moment, please. Where does that figure 20,000? I computed it. It's based on casualties per ton of TNT. Now listen. We've had a great long ride, haven't we? We've advanced the science. We've advanced the art. Now we pay for the trip.
I went to check those computations.
Lee, there is no one else to trust.
He intended that bomb as a counterweapon only. What warranty did you get? I am my own warranty.
How do you enforce it? Where's your power? The four of us together have the power. You can't draw a line and tell the government they must not pass. It wasn't our money. It isn't our choice.
Only true.
What he's saying is yesterday you married the government. This morning you show blood on the sheet. What it proves is what it always proves. You were a virgin.
Every one of us. What I'm sure of, after this calamity is over, I want to go back and do meaningful work. I want to go back and do good science. I don't want to spend the rest of my life explaining in front of Congress that I took $2 billion United States dollars, developed a weapon that could have ended the war overnight, and then refused to let it be used while hundreds of thousands of people were dying under unimaginably brutal circumstances. You pay the $2.
What, $2? That is a joke, I believe, from American burlesque.
Ah, where they disrobe.
Any other time, not now. What's the joke? No. My report is missing. This is a steamroller, no sidetracks.
All right.
To use it will be a tragedy. I know this. I don't trust your General Besh or your War Department or any of that. They justify everything. We are springing loose something. I know that. So today, I think we do unhappy work.
Is he an independent voice? Are you?
I am. The interim committee will want a report covering only the area of our competence. I'll see if I can rephrase our position.
And you have not seen the Frank report?
I was told about it. I've not seen it.
Wait. That's very careful phrasing.
I did not see the Frank report.
I really have to object to the line of this testimony. It's not relevant to any of the charges.
Dr. Benjamin should be given the opportunity to explain his role in the nation's atomic policy prior.
No one's questioning his policies in 1945.
I beg your pardon?
If you open to question Dr. Benjamin's political orientation in 1940 and in 1950, then the policies that he advocated between those dates are all relevant.
I think counsel is trying to obscure the issue.
And I'm glad to hear you finally refer to all these allegations as charges. It would be helpful if you would follow along with a rational explanation of just what these charges charge. It is a mystery to me.
As you know, Dr. Benjamin, the board is bending over backwards to give you every latitude.
Yes, I thought that a brief summary...
Spare us that.
I beg your pardon?
If Dr. Benjamin's opinions are being judged here, I think we ought to be permitted to show what those opinions were.
No, I want to pin that down right now. In no sense is this man being judged on his opinions.
Are these charges, or are they not? Here is a charge that he subscribed to a legally published and distributed newspaper. Here is a charge that he expressed a viewpoint regarding the feasibility of a hydrogen bomb. Here is a charge that he changed his mind regarding the policies of the Soviet Union.
What about his change of mind about Hugo Rayner?
Where did you learn manners, counselor? Traffic court? Hit and run?
Hello, Hugo. Welcome.
If we can't count on counsel's courtesy, should we not have some kind of judicial discipline?
Come in. Where's Louisa?
Benji, where the hell have you been? I'm glad you called us. I was really upset.
I've been roaming. Oh, there you are.
Hello.
Oh, you look wonderful.
Thank you.
Come in.
Maybe it isn't cold enough for it, but I thought I'd wear it anyway.
Oh, that's a new jacket.
You were not to get one before me.
I couldn't wait for you anymore.
Well, you look beautiful in it.
Thank you.
Nobody could tell me where you were.
I'll take these.
All right.
You make the drinks.
You want my concoction?
Yes, sure.
You went into the bottomless pit.
To the very bottom.
Hugo would call you every day.
The scientists are dropping out of sight faster than football players.
War is the great equalizer.
Well, it's unnerving when it happens without a word. Are you happy about it?
I'm excited about it, yes.
Well, they picked the smartest man. I approve of that.
Thank you. We're going to close up the house. Hammer it shut.
For the duration?
Yes?
Benji, I don't know what you're doing, and please don't tell me. I don't want to know. I'm only bringing up a point. You have met George Chappell, haven't you?
Possible.
Well, he mentioned, if I saw you, that I should let you know that if you're seeking a way to make technical information available to foreign scientists, Soviet scientists, he can see that it's done.
Technical information?
Yeah.
That's a strange sound.
No, just...
Do you mean spying?
You think I mean spying?
It'd be a terrible thing to do.
Of course I don't mean spying.
It'd be a terrible thing to do.
Was that what you said?
It's difficult
You didn't say that this was treasonous.
I might have used that word. I think it would be a treasonous thing to do. I certainly thought
You
that...
told Colonel Needham you used that word.
Well, let me tell you the story of the word treason.
Did you think it was treasonous?
I thought it was terrible.
Did you think it was treasonous?
To take information from the United States and ship it abroad illicitly, sure.
In other words, you thought that the course of action suggested by Chappell was treasonous.
Yes.
And the intermediary in this conversation was your friend, Hugo Rayner?
I think he's still my friend.
Do you think so, Benji?
It was a very casual comment he made.
Did Rayner suggest the use of microfilm as a means of transmitting the information?
No. No.
Did he say anything about the possibility that the information would be transmitted through the Soviet consulate?
No.
Are you certain in your recollection?
Yes.
So the bomb was this important to you?
At the time, Hugo.
Did he tell you or indicate to you in any way that he had talked to anyone else about it?
No, he did not.
Are you certain?
Yes, I'm sure about that.
Interview with Captain Rigotti. Benjamin says, Chappell solicited information from several scientists. Interview with Colonel Needham. Benjamin. Several scientists were told that Chappell had a way to transmit technical material. Interview also with Colonel Needham. Benjamin. I don't think I ought to simply pour out to you people a river of names.
Yes, I was fabricating.
Now you say...
It was phony, false. They were fabrications.
Are you now saying that you lied to these security officers?
Yes, I avoided naming Hugo Rayner as the intermediary because...
You also avoided naming yourself.
Well, I didn't want to open the door. You know what I mean by opening the door.
All to protect your friend?
Yes.
But weren't you actually involving him deeper?
How?
Well, if those stories you now say are fabrications were really true, it would look very bad for him, wouldn't it? I mean, those stories painted a far worse picture than some casual comment.
Yes, but I fantasized. Look, I avoided naming myself because I didn't want to get my feet tangled in...
Well, let's get it straight, Doctor. You were lying then, and it's the truth now. Or were you telling the truth then, and now you're lying?
They were fabrications.
Then?
Yeah, then, yes.
Oh, because, Doctor, how is it possible? A great mind capable of unraveling quantum mechanics and all of the intricate theories and engineering of the bomb, to lie on the one hand and to do it so badly on the other.
To protect
But you
a
involved
friend.
him more deeply.
Look,
and you were more
I'm
involved.
not an expert in lying.
Now,
I
how
have
much
no
badgering are
skill.
you
I
going to
was an
permit,
idiot.
Mr. Chairman?
You're a very good liar, Benji.
I beg pardon?
I was an idiot. You lied to us. Of course you knew. We trusted.
Mr. Chairman, please.
Please! There are too many charges. Your charges and my charges at the same time are too many. Look, I've answered the specific question. I was an idiot and a bad liar about Hugo. Look, I didn't bargain to come here to be shouted at. I don't agree to this. I contracted that you examine me as I am, not as I was 20 years ago. I was cleared of that. No, it was not espionage. No, I would not characterize it as espionage. Indiscretion, yes. I considered him a friend still. I consider him so. I don't know what he thinks about me. Gentlemen, I have devoted most of a lifetime to public service, to serving in the advancement of science, to assisting in the utilization of the scientific capacities. I was protecting a friend, yes. I was protecting myself. But don't ask me to do your work. I'm not a judge of political loyalties. Don't ask me to assume your risks. You're the insurance brokers. You get paid. You take your own risks. Look, if this is the hearing, then I refuse. I won't contract for it. No one disturbs my soul. It's no concern of yours. Build your own monuments. Find your own nourishment. But let me have what's mine. I want my honor back. And what you wrote in your letter of complaints is unimportant, uninvolved, military complaints, bureaucratic complaints. You can't fool with me that way. It isn't fair to parade other ghosts, just the ghost you stipulated. Now, I abide by that stipulation, but sever the rest. We'll have the hearing. Take what's yours and leave me mine. I will submit to x-rays, but not to taxidermy. What's the use of suffering for one's sins if you can't harvest your virtues? You can't have it both ways. It demands a sonnet, doesn't it?
Doctor?
List awards. Awards. This award, as the Popular Scientific Mechanics Magazine Man of the Year, Man O' the Year, I accept with humility as one of the good things in a life tangled full of the strings and scarecrows of outrageous fortune. The Southern Associated Plywood Manufacturers have been most kind. I would like to thank you, sir, for the Evergreen Award in a decidedly deciduous year.
For services rendered below the call of duty. For hesitation in the face of challenge. For inconstancy when a rock was needed. For salesmanship when thoughtfulness was in great demand. And most of all, for fission when America hungered for fusion. We present the Father of the Year Award to Dr. William Benjamin, without whose lack of commitment and obstruction the hydrogen superbomb could have been achieved a year sooner.
Should I list those with the honorary doctorates and medals?
Yes. I think they should know I'm Mr. Evergreen.
Congratulations. I never dreamed you would be, could be, Mr. Evergreen. And Man o' the Year?
Who sees that far?
Marry me, Billy. With my help, you could be a very great man. Which is what you want, isn't it?
How about the Nobel Peace Prize?
I am the Nobel Peace Prize. Marry me, Billy. Will you? I've got your life with me all planned.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Everything all planned, eh?
Got to broaden you out. Get you into the community.
Oh, that's a must.
That's a must. Get some papers coming in, get a radio here and a telephone, and we'll have a coming out party for you. Professor Faces Life. The question this story asks is, can a scholarly gentleman from the 16th century find happiness in the 20th?
And you guarantee the world is worth knowing?
No. Only worth changing.
But then I must change, too.
The world takes care of that. Nothing I do to you. Marry me, Billy.
That's necessary.
I've run out of free samples.
protected I can protect.
I understand that.
You'd be getting a tough kid.
You don't have to be.
I've been knocking around. I can't help that.
Do you know the poem beginning, "For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love"?
Is that the best answer I can get? If you don't answer the proposition, I automatically invoke the legal principle of mute acceptance. You just made a bargain.
Perhaps. I don't think so.
The contract will follow in due course. Are you still tangled up with the other one?
Not on my side.
She with you?
That's not my problem.
I believe in contracts. The spirit and the letter. Must I ask again?
Evie, I think I do love you, but
If you're going to deal with me postulate by postulate, drop. Coffee?
No, thanks.
You seem, perhaps, I think, therefore, to the best of my knowledge and belief, how about a simple no?
I admit, I like things the way they are.
You little baby man, you don't know the way they are. This isn't the way they are. It sure as hell isn't the way they're going to be, not for the world and not for us. And when you're out of bed, Billy, and out of the old laboratory, you don't know your ass from Utica, New York.
What's that, a euphemism?
I'm just getting started. You want insulation, and maybe you can get away with it, but then I'm very wrong for you, Billy. I'd strip you. Maybe you're better off detached and ignorant. My husband was opposite you, you see. Galliano had no insulation. He was scraped raw. Someday, if I have the gut, I'll tell you the little Spanish tricks they played on him while they were killing him. What I don't know is what he screamed, but I know he screamed something. His mistake was in trusting books. I don't even trust books. You see what I do to you? I have to know my enemy. I don't tolerate ignorance in myself. It would be no marriage if I tolerated it in you, would it?
You know something? If you didn't talk so much, you might force an answer out of me.
Well, then, maybe you could make a woman out of me again.
And what year was that?
How do I just be a woman?
Mrs. Benjamin.
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear that.
We were married in 1940.
Dr. Benjamin is your second husband?
Yes.
Did you subscribe, while living in Berkeley with Dr. Benjamin before Los Alamos, to the People's World?
I believe it came to the house occasionally.
Are you saying yes?
I don't believe we subscribed. I know from the early 30s the party would send free copies to solicit subscriptions, get a readership. It was that kind of thing, I imagine.
Would you describe these years as fellow traveler years?
I would never use such terms. We have had friends of all persuasions. We have never demanded from them any kind of political orthodoxy. If there was a time we hardened against the communist apparatus after the pact, I dated to Pearl Harbor.
How's this done, Mrs. Benjamin? How do you harden away from them or disassociate yourself from them since you were once a party member?
I think that varies, sir. Some people do the bump just like that and even write an article about it. Other people do it quite slowly. I left the party years before I married again, but I did not leave my past, my friendships, just like that. I didn't just do the bump.
Counselor?
Your first husband's name was Matthew Gallinow?
Matthew Gallinow.
Gallinow, thank you. How did you meet him?
At a party. I was a girl. Another girl who was a communist came and brought him with her.
Did you and he fall in love quickly?
Yes.
How quickly?
I haven't got a slide rule answer. Very, I would say. Billy?
You decided to marry?
We did.
Did you fix a date?
Yes, I finished my semester and went to join him.
You did?
Yes.
You knew he was in the party?
Oh, yes.
When was the semester over?
Early February, I don't know. That was 20 years ago. Billy, please.
Don't look to him for help. He was a member of the party.
Of course.
You joined the party.
Of course, yes.
Mr. Chairman, why are we going over again what has already been given in deposition?
He was killed in Spain?
Yes, he
Why
was.
did you join the party?
Matt wanted it.
And he was your husband?
Yes, yes.
How was he killed?
I wasn't there.
I am going to object, Mr. Chairman.
We are bending over backwards.
I want to object.
Wait. Wait, I'll say how. He was killed in the style of Goya, Mr. Henry.
Who? You weren't there?
I was not there.
Well, how did you learn?
I was told.
Who told you?
They told me.
The communists?
Yes.
Did you go to Spain?
No, in Paris.
Paris is where they told you?
Yes.
Who told you?
The communists, they told
Who,
me.
Mrs. Benjamin?
Joe Reed.
The same Joe Reed is in the commission's letter of charge.
I didn't write the letter.
Who was Joe Reed?
A communist, a black communist. Please, Billy.
You mean a Negro communist, Mrs.
I do not.
The same Joe Reed.
I don't know.
He saw and witnessed your husband's death?
He saw it, he witnessed it, he observed it, he noted it, he regarded it, he absorbed it. Oh, God, Billy, help me. He came from Spain. Joe Reed. He met me in Paris. He told me. He was gentle to me.
He was in the party?
Yes,
And when he told you?
I cried.
And your reaction was?
I cried.
For how long, Mrs. Benjamin?
I cried.
Did she say he was in the party?
I cried.
Did you allow him to sleep with you too, Mrs. Benjamin?
I cried.
And when you cried, how did you feel?
I cried. Hello? Hello?
That's a good light for you.
Is it?
Don't make me sorry, I said.
Come here, please. Unbend.
I am.
I'm not going to bite you. Unless you want me to.
No.
I see you.
What have you been taking?
Red ones and blue ones and pink ones and white ones and blue and white ones. Please give a kiss at least.
Did you have to take them all at once?
Kiss. No kiss. I tried, sweet. I tried. Finally, when I called you, they said your number was disconnected. I would have hung up if your wife answered the phone.
Oh, Anne, if my wife answers the phone, you talk to my wife. You say, this is Anne. That's what you do.
Why do I want to talk to her?
She's my wife, Anne. You're my friend.
No friend. I'm no friend, not me. I've had some offers, Benji. I've heard from 2 psych departments.
One with the University of Arizona and one Wisconsin.
Definite offers? Could I help with the letter?
When I decide?
Let me know.
If so, which?
Let me know.
How do I find you? If Hugo hadn't told me you'd be in town, how would I have found you this time? What do I do? You presume that I enjoy being so damned helpless. I'm disgusted. You screwed me up good, Bunny Rabbit. It's not all my fault. I love you. I'm not good for anything else. And I sure as hell won't be chummy with your damned wife.
He was with the broad.
Communicate with my Evie.
My Evie.
Communicate with my Evie, and I'll exact upon thou the tortures of the damned.
What wilt thou do?
The most exquisite pains.
And for that.
Yea. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death,
You Jews have such long, sensitive fingers.
That's the cross we bear.
Tell me more about the valley of the shadow.
Nutty as a fruitcake.
Plum pudding. How do I summon you?
Hugo's as good as anything I could suggest. I see him from time to time. Or call the physics department. The university should know where I am. I know it's a very roundabout way.
Lucky Strike Green has gone to war.
I guess that's about it.
Is that it? Is that it, Lucky?
Sure.
You happy about it?
Much. Yes.
Working for the government?
I'm excited by it, Anne.
Have you ever held a gun in your hands?
This is science, Anne. Just great science. The problems are spectacularly good. Look, we've got all the money we need, all the equipment, all the priorities, and the best minds. I mean, the very best. How often does it all come together? It's sweet, Anne. It's sweet. I've got to do it. And if the war's going to pay for it, then I'm in the war. Look, I'm happy about it. Be happy for me.
They'll mash you.
What?
They'll mash you down. They'll squeeze you out. They'll put you through a sausage grinder and sell you by the pound, strung out like bratwurst, the bastards.
As long as I stay clear of the political
And
end...
I'll just buy you by the dozen. I can use you in that form.
You will always bring out the worst in me.
That's what they'll do to you.
You'll always give me lessons, won't you?
You'll always need me, won't you? And I won't be around.
Oh, shut up and be happy. Look, I've got this, and I want it, and that pleases me. That's all there is.
Won't be around.
Oh, do not die, for I shall hate all women so when thou art gone.
Her apartment in San Francisco.
How long will you be gone? You don't know.
I don't.
Here are the timesheets.
Let me see.
Tell my fortune, Bunny Rabbit.
You'll do fine.
Benji, tell it.
Look, I gave all that up.
You tell me because I'm a shaky kid.
I never tell fortunes. I'm wrong too often.
What have you got on her?
Kami, in the party. Personal history.
Anyway, you're no kid.
I'll go off if I can't get to you. Absolutely, Doctor.
You're a fine, pretty woman.
Stick around, Benji.
He's had her for years, hasn't he?
I'll give you a medal. How'd you like to be Soldier of the Year? Lance Corporal of the Year.
If I had the year.
Remember Scrooge? The spirits did it all in one night.
Young man, I like your spirit.
The whole damn thing goes to Besh.
Gotta hand it to him. If you're gonna transmit secrets, that's the way to do it.
If you're with the government, Bunny Rabbit, there's somebody outside with binoculars and a pencil and a wristwatch.
Feel my heartbeat.
I'll be damned if I'll clear him. Let Bess sweat over it. Benjamin, you cute bastard. I've got you good.
I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Only you're any good, Benji. The world is shit.
I have the responsibility.
I know you do.
I want you to be absolutely honest with me.
Of course.
I want you to be free to handle this bunch of prima donnas and administer the science. This is routine what I do, but it's important too.
Generals are not given routine duties.
Without my doing my job, all your work contributes to nothing.
I agree.
What?
I agree with you, General. The military problems, the political problems, I happily give to you. My people are only dealing with the universe.
I hope so. Are you now, or have you ever been, a communist?
No.
My security officers recommend you be dropped as a risk.
A risk of what?
Tell me this, Benjamin. You know communists.
Yes?
How do you feel about them?
I married one. My wife was a
I know about that.
I stated that.
I know you did.
Well, then I don't
Would you want to see a communist today working on this project?
Unless he gave up politics altogether, swore off, I wouldn't have him.
But you've recommended known communists to work here on this project.
I've made recommendations on scientific criteria only. Clearing people or investigating their politics is not my job.
Even when you've known.
Well, then they must be weeded out, but not by me.
Your girlfriend is a communist, isn't she?
Years ago, my wife was married to
A
a
girl
man
in San Francisco.
It's a very sad story, Wendell.
I don't want to hear it. It ain't germane. It isn't germane.
Look, I'm trying to cooperate.
What is, Dr. Benjamin, your opinion of an active communist?
Well, one who, my opinion might be very different than yours.
Well, that's what we have to ascertain. Now, your opinion is valuable to me personally because you're probably the most intelligent man I'll ever meet. But an active communist...
There's the theoretical communist, isn't there?
Marx?
One who might read Marx, Lenin, Engels, the religious writers, the religion of communism.
Is he independent?
Of what?
Is the American communist independent of Russia?
If he's in the party now, I think not. I used to see them as separate things, the Soviet Communist Party and the American, but now I see it differently. After the Soviet-German pact, the reactions made...
Then how is it possible for a communist to swear off for the duration, as you told General Besh?
Well, one can put the discipline aside.
And if someone said to you, Dr. Benjamin, I'm for swearing party discipline. Now, do you think that's enough to free them from...
Is that impossible?
Well, at what point on the probability scale do you make that risk acceptable? You see, that's my problem, which I hope you'll help me with.
I understand your problem. I sympathetically understand it.
Yes?
I think one has to depend on one's own methods to evaluate.
Yes?
I want to help.
Yes?
In some way.
I respect what you say, Doctor. Kogani.
Kogani was a student of mine, very bright. He asked me to intercede on behalf of his draft board, and I wrote a letter about his importance to our work, but I assumed the clearance procedures would be applied.
Even though you knew him to be a CP?
What's the term? Communist Party?
A member, yes.
I knew that at one time, him, definitely, yes. But there were others. Some very pink, some red, fellow travelers, party members. But every one, you see, is an individual. I mean, you can't... there were others, I'm sure you know. Chappell, there's a guy you ought to be watching.
Chappell?
He was soliciting technical information for the Soviets.
George Chappell.
That's right.
The chemist. Yes, we have his name. How did he solicit information? I'm sorry, what?
No, nothing.
How did Chappell solicit information?
I didn't say solicit, did I?
Well, didn't you tell Captain Rigotti that?
It's an unfamiliar
I could show you
phrase.
the transcript.
No, if you say I said it, I'll accept that.
That is the word you use, Professor.
The reason it seems unfamiliar to me, it may very well be putting an interpretation on a totally innocent act.
Do you believe in innocence, Professor?
Well, I don't know, Colonel. I think like many things, you must first believe it's present or you never find it.
Nicely phrased. Chappell has already committed known acts of espionage.
Well, I wouldn't call this espionage.
Now we're in my field, Professor.
I understand.
Cover apparatus for transmitting secret material to a foreign power means espionage to me.
I don't want
You
to...
aren't the first they've approached.
I didn't say I was approached. Several scientists had been told that Chappell had a way to transmit technical material. He let it be known to...
What scientist did he speak to?
I have no specific names.
And you said you heard this some time ago.
Yes, in the winter. But with my attention on other problems, no, I can't say I know of any direct confrontations with Chappell.
How did you hear?
It was told. Someone said it.
Who said it?
An innocent party. I can't be certain.
Try not to judge, Professor.
Innocent, I'm sure. The important man to watch would be Chappell.
Try to remember who told you.
Look, I have tried.
I can put all my men on this. We'll find the man.
I don't think I simply ought to pour out to you people a river of names.
What?
A running river of names of people who have done nothing to warrant any
Faculty
suspicion.
people?
No,
The scientists?
no. Yes, they are.
And the intermediary, then?
Look, it was a casual comment he made. Yes, he is on the faculty.
At Berkeley?
I can't be... Yes, at Berkeley. But look, I don't want... You're trying to...
If anyone is clean, he'll be cleared.
By whom?
By me.
But, Colonel, you don't believe in innocence.
Again, Benji.
Oh, don't plague me with that. Look, all these security matters are taking time from my work. We've been recalculating on the weight of the critical mass. It's a very delicate...
Benjamin, no one is going to let this rest.
Oh, Christ, Wendell, I wanted... All right, look. Order me, and I'll give you the name. Bring down the whole weight of the United States government and the Army and the war effort and the Manhattan District, and I'll open my fist and let this one little name fly out.
Square it with Leadham. We've got more
I won't talk to him again.
Now, you can't take that attitude.
He's a moral security risk.
Now, I can't have this. My head goes on the block. If the damn bomb fizzles and you long hairs don't deliver for me, I'll spend the rest of my life before committees. And I won't take on the extra damage of this security thing. You have got to straighten that out.
Then order me.
I don't want to know about it. Talk to Rigotti if you won't talk to Leadham.
Not now. Not now. Look, the cyclotron group is starting operation. I can't take any more time.
We think we know the man. All you'd really be doing is confirming...
It would be wrong.
Give me the name.
You give it to me. You show me your material. If it's right, I'll confirm it.
Your brother?
No, it was not my brother.
You're trying to protect a man who may be undermining the very project you're endeavoring to succeed with. Now, my mind doesn't comprehend.
Dollars to donuts. There was
Were
no...
any of the men contacted communists?
No.
I understand loyalty,
Grant.
but loyalty to the country.
I've told you there is no danger to the country.
Point blank, Dr. Benjamin, will you help us with this? Will you tell us who is the contact for the Soviet agent Chappell?
I've thought about it. Endlessly. Far beyond its weight. Taking time from the work I'm paid to do. And yet I feel I must not gratuitously give it. That's the point.
I should be in Washington. I got this damn Congress on my back. I got everything on my shoulders. We've got to settle this security thing. I mean, stamp on it. Kill it.
Just one name.
You have to give one name, or I...
You've got these security officers on my head and climbing all over me. Leadham I can control for now, but he sucks around. Those Pentagon types are not in my TO. I can't stop them. Rigotti has gone over my head to the FBI and God knows who else.
General, you ought to try mountain climbing. But this is the country for it. It's very rich and the most expensive commodity in the world.
They want the name.
Which is silence. Just the sound of the wind.
They want the name.
Look, their problems aren't my problems. Order me.
I may just have to do that. That would be very bad.
Look, dollars to donuts. This guy is innocent of anything.
When you make that judgment, you're making their problem into your problem. You see that? That's their job, making those judgments, not yours.
Sure.
You see that?
Sure.
Give.
The man did nothing.
Then nothing will happen except life will be easier and we can work without the small minds.
Sins proliferate.
Give the name, because until you do, life will be hell for both of us on this project, and I won't take it. I'll drop you. Benjamin, you are radioactive. You get my meaning?
Look, I have got too much invested here.
You make my case. Doctor, Professor, I come cooped up for hours on that damn Tunaville trolley to settle this, because if it isn't, right now, it all goes to pieces. Now here's the situation, as clearly as I know how. Some people say you're the only man for this job. Even if true, that won't keep you on. I'll drop you. I know you want to stay. It's the most important thing for you, isn't it?
Yes.
And I want you to stay for the project and for yourself. I don't have to tell you the advantages on both scores, but I personally can't carry you while you're marked black.
Red. Order me.
Think! With your brain. If I once order you, I can't keep you. You've got to give the name to be clean enough for me. If I order you, you're coerced and you'll give the name, but it's no good. I hold you in my hands, Benji. I squeeze, and you crack. I can hold you close, or I can throw you away. The only reason you're kept in is because I go out on a limb with you. If I coerce you, I can't support you. Your conscience wants to be relieved. It's got a hook into you, which doesn't mean a damn. Benji, believe me, it's a war. And that hook doesn't mean a damn. Now here it is. I have the responsibility, and I will order you. I will order you. I haven't yet, but I will. Nothing will be the same when I do. Now you've got a minute to volunteer. Because in 1 minute, I will order you.
I never said I was essential. I'm not a military man. I don't understand all that world. Lead him is an animal. He slobbers. Regardie's more subtle. Not that I trust him. At least he's likable. Look, I'd be the last to claim constancy. Consistency. Got all tangled up. You hear the sound of the squeaking door? I'll tell you this much. There were not several scientists contacted by him. Only one. Myself. I didn't want to make it a first-hand story. I improvised. I lied. I fabricated in my Baroque. You got a pencil?
You squeeze, I crack. The man's name is Hugo Rayner. He lives in Marin County. He made a simple, casual comment.
You type this letter immediately, Miss Ewing?
Yes, sir.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
It shapes up. I think so. Thank you.
How long before it's over?
If at all, it will have to be my decision.
Few weeks. We haven't got their witness list.
Will we have to be there each day?
Dahlgren, is it necessary for her?
No.
Don't split up the act, Billy. And I still haven't found an apartment in Washington. I've hardly looked.
I can have the office located.
Oh, hell no.
Let me see what I can find first. We have so many friends around Georgetown.
What about Alger Hiss's old place?
Oh, God. Did you know his?
Did I know him? I personally awarded him the Lenin Prize. He was my contact.
You did not know his?
That's right.
Why are you dragging him in? What did you want to say?
Nothing. Go ahead.
I think it best if we open with a detailed recitation of all the history you included in your answering letter.
How detailed?
Overwhelm them. Well, just stay away from anything classified. Every slip you make would be another count in the indictment.
Do you really think they intend to let me off?
What?
Arthur, do you really think they intend to let me off?
They will not let you off.
I disagree. Now listen, they want to establish the semblance of a court. We can hold them to the letter of that agreement by putting a bright, hot light on everything they do. I mean, leaking everything to the press, making it a de facto public hearing.
They won't permit that.
It matters not, my friend. It can be made to happen.
They can classify the whole proceedings, and then if you talk, you're committing a felony.
You New York lawyers don't understand. I've worked in Washington a long time. Selective and discreet disclosure is the public art form.
No.
No.
What's the matter?
It's not my style.
No.
They'll be playing their side of it that way. Believe me, we call them cafeteria committees. Everybody serves themselves.
No.
What would happen, forgive me, if we let them make their charges and just stay mute? If it's not going to be fair, do we just have to let them gouge us?
Listen, don't tie my hands. It's my plan. You don't have to know about it or be involved. None of you. I never mentioned it. We strike it from the record, okay?
Well, you did speak about it. I can't permit you that liberty, Arthur.
If there's no hope of winning, I don't want to go through with it. I'm sorry.
On the small chance that logic has healing power, I think we can have small hope. And if all these people testify strongly enough for you, it might excite a little intimidation. That's good medicine.
There are names that haven't answered yet, even limited to these witnesses, the famous names.
An all-star show.
Well, what do you want? They carry weight with the public. You carry weight with the public. I'm not responsible for that. There's nothing unworthy about it. If nobody gave a damn about you, there'd be no hearing, probably no charges either. You play Benjamin, you win. You play Joe Blow, you lose.
I'm willing to fight. Aren't you? Do you deserve to let this happen?
Do you know, this is almost physical. It's almost physical.
Now, Benji. Now, it's time to come in. To come in and help us.
You haven't heard from Janos, have you?
No.
We
We won't hear from that little bastard. He belongs to Grabo. He's his.
Have you heard from Besh? Will he testify for me?
Won't he?
I don't know if he will. Why should he?
We're counting on him.
Bash!
Wendell, this is Coleman Gravow.
You bet.
How's industry treating you?
It is. You busy counting strontium 90, huh, Coleman?
The fallout problem's a gimmick, Wendell. Don't believe what you read. You should know.
I read about that Jap fishing boat.
Well, I put out several releases on that. I'll see you get copies of them. I put the whole thing in perspective.
Wendell, how's it feel to be out of uniform? Chafing at the bit?
No.
Good, that's good. I'll tell you, Wendell, do you plan on coming in for the Benjamin hearings?
Might.
We'd be happy if you...
Think I ought to? Say a few words for Benji?
Well, if I might advise you...
Sure, go ahead.
There are some phases of his career you mightn't be familiar with. Fully familiar with.
Nobody knows his file like I do. Benjamin is no more a communist agent than you are.
I don't say he's an agent. But there are issues. Problems. Particularly, Wendell, because there are new security regulations I'm sure you haven't seen that make even his old file come up into conflict again.
I haven't studied the new statutes.
Might be wise to reevaluate your...
Coleman, you're not recording, are you?
No.
I thought not. Thanks for the call.
Oh, I'll see you get a copy of the new regulations. And the releases.
You want me to testify?
We'd love to have you with us.
Against him.
For your own sake. Your company does work with the Commission. And the Air Force.
Hey, listen, Grabau, you better watch what you're saying. How do you know I'm not recording? Benji, I'll try to help you.
Thank you.
I wish I could say it would amount to something. It won't. You've been ambushed, cut off. The battle's over.
Then don't testify for me.
I will.
I beg you not to. I don't want to drag anyone down with me. I think it would be prudent not to.
I'm just dropping a few supplies. Doesn't change anything. Just a temporary comfort for you. Now, we through with this crap?
Without being...
You don't know nothing about it. I never had to order you, did I? I told you the score, and I'm no barometer. I don't change. I'm part of this whole thing. I began it, for Christ's sake. I'm not going to walk away from it now. No one's ever going to be able to say that about me.
I'd still rather you didn't testify for me. It might harm you. You must do work for the Commission.
Are you threatening me, too? I'll do business with them, and I'll testify, too. I ain't afraid. I'm not afraid of Grandpa.
Why should you be? You gave him his foreskin back.
Right. I gave him my bomb, but I never put myself in his hands. That's one thing I learned early, Benji. You don't put yourself in the hands of people who've got passions. Those are the people you use, not the ones who use you. But I treated them fair. That's why you and I got along so well.
What's my passion, General?
Yeah, sure, you've got a passion.
What is it?
Your passion is you, yourself. That doesn't surprise you, does it? You were lucky to be in my hands, very lucky as far as that goes. You know me. I'll say anything as long as it's the truth. You still play tennis?
Why do you say that about me?
I never had to order you to give the name, but you gave it. No tennis? You see, you should. Keeps the gut down. But you never had any problem with the gut, did you? I'm playing a tough game now. Everything's falling into place. The forehand, the serve, the trick is to make the racket.
The day of Hiroshima.
Right? I was playing tennis.
What did you do with the front report?
My serve was working that day.
Like a shot.
They have no shelters in Hiroshima. The people weren't warned. You promised me 5 times a day.
I was happy that day. The psychological shock. 2 bombs. One right after the other.
You only get 2 serves in tennis.
If the first one doesn't get them, the second.
Why didn't you tell me the Japanese were trying to surrender?
It's a great game.
Why didn't you tell me the Joint Chiefs were divided on an invasion?
There's something so damn clean about putting on those whites.
And hitting that ball.
The trick is to make the racket an extension of the arm.
That's what you made of me, Wendell.
An extension of the arm. And you get that sound when it's right. And everything feels right. Like one great good.
If the brilliance of 1,000 suns were to burst and rise in the sky, that would be like the splendor of the mighty one.
Put on your glasses, you'll burn out your eyes, the war is over.
Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
Don't look. We dropped 2 of those and the war is over. 1 and 2, just like that.
The Krishna only needed 1.
2. We need 2.
Very elegant.
If used, it will work.
We've been suffered to put together this sweet package for the purpose of a larger design. None of us is a bomber, but we made a bomb. Now the ritual says to suffer its use. Bar mitzvah time.
No, that it exists, yes, but that we have to grovel to them and relinquish our intent.
Absolutely. You all accepted it when you start to build a bomb.
No, Benji, I did not. I precede you. Do not explain to me how I began. We were checkmating the Germans. We never bargained for using the bomb. The idea was to prevent anybody's using it.
It was always in the bottom of the bag.
I deny that. And in return, I ask you why you've done nothing about my petition.
We could unanimously sign a document demanding the bomb not to be used. Stimson would have an attack of conscience, but he'd recover. Compton would veto us. Besh would have us impounded, and the bomb will be dropped, 1 and 2, and the war would end. And we have no alternative to that they will accept.
Where is the petition? What have you done with the Frank Committee report?
If we invade, the cost in lives will be 10 times.
We're bombing the hell from them. Why need we invade?
They say to me,
But
why?
who do you speak for?
The implications of the bomb are far worse than those of an invasion.
That's what the report says.
What is the case for invasion? Is this an exponential situation?
Would you accept another Tokyo firestorm? 100,000 people broiled in one night. Ours, I estimate, only 20,000.
Speak to the point.
They say invasion will be necessary. Trust me.
He stands between. Who else is there to trust?
Besh? But his mouth opens and Besh's words come out. Why is that?
I trust Benji. I trust that he is an independent voice.
So, we merely...
The interim committee will expect a report.
We are then accountants certifying the accuracy of balance sheets we are not permitted to see.
We are permitted to see the petition. We are permitted to consider the front.
I have not received it. Trust me. I am an independent voice. I value human life as highly as you do. But we have no alternative that they will accept. No reports, no petitions. They have their own reports and their own petitions, and they want this war to end, and so do I. Look, I admit we don't know beans about the military situation, but I'm convinced that the 2 bombs we have must be used directly on Japan in order to end the slaughter. Isn't that worth it?
Slaughter to end the slaughter. I expect more insight from you, Benji. Are you speaking for yourself?
Yes.
Trust me.
16 hours ago, an American airplane dropped 1 bomb on Hiroshima, an important Japanese army base. That bomb had more power than 20,000 tons of TNT. The Japanese began the war from the air at Pearl Harbor. They have been repaid manyfold. It is an atomic bomb. It is a harnessing of the basic power of the universe, the force from which the sun draws its power.
Sagani and Nishina are competent physicists. They would understand immediately how it worked.
The force from which the sun draws its power has been loosed against those who brought war to the Far East. It was to spare the Japanese people from utter destruction that the ultimatum of July 26th was issued at Potsdam. Their leaders promptly rejected that ultimatum.
That's not the truth.
Their leaders promptly rejected that ultimatum.
Tell the truth.
One bomb on Hiroshima. It is an atomic bomb. It is a harnessing of the basic power of the universe. If they do not now accept our terms, they may expect a rain of ruin from the air. A rain of ruin from the air, the like of which has never been seen on this earth.
Keep your dignity. Take the position nolo contendere. Don't contest the action. Stand mute. The hell with them.
That's giving up, man. You can fight to win. Forget their rules. If you fight, you can win.
If there's no hope of winning, Billy, I don't want to go through with it. But whichever course of action you decide, you know, you have to tell us which we're going to do.
Besh will testify for me. Janusz will not.
Father of us all. Father of us all.
He's armed without, that's innocent within.
Who, you or me? I am always innocent. Are you?
I'd have to be born again. You never tasted blood?
No, I live on herbs. Have you seen the monitor's report on the size of the Russian bomb?
Yes. Did you think they wouldn't build one?
How we would have demoralized them if we could have found the super before they found the little one.
What is it about California that makes you people so damn wrathful and warlike? You're always so fervent for killing.
No, it's not fervor. But when I kill, I must be angry, you see. Not so cool as you. You've been following our experiments.
Yes, I read what I'm sent.
We are going to have the super. Technically, it's very sweet indeed.
It's all to your glory, Eugene.
We could test in a year.
That's so?
Or half again.
At what order of power?
15.
Megatons?
15 megatons, but much more is possible.
Then you must be the father of us all.
No. Benji, now is the time to come in with us. Really, to help us.
Believe me, Eugene, I ask this humbly. What help could I be to you?
You joke! With your funny hat. I loved your jokes.
Eugene, I ask it seriously. If it's that sweet, why pull in theoreticians? You want engineers.
Well, it's not that sweet. You see, I sometimes confuse what's happening outside with what's going on inside. As long as there's activity up here, I can be deceived. But I still say a year. And the figures. The figures, Benji. The gadget needs some ingenious heads around it.
Not mine.
No, I had no hopes I would get you.
And look, I'd be no damn good for you anyway. I don't sweat enough anymore. And you don't need another administrator.
No, we have administrators like China has babies. But what I would like to feel, Benji, what I would like to feel is that if Lask or Bouchard or any of them, Donor even, came to hear your oracular summations, that you would encourage them.
Eugene, on this matter, I'm neutral.
No,
what
I do
is
not
it you
mean
have? This
neutrality.
love for
What I
bombs.
talk about now is advocacy.
Why do you use that word?
I don't. Yes, of course I use the word. You play a god.
No, Eugene.
Why must I come and beg for your enthusiasm in order to get the men that should have been with me in the first place? Xander would have come in with me, but you said no. You convinced him no. You did. You urged him off as you did to the others. You're crippling this effort, and I cannot understand why. Why is it? From the moment you broke up the team at Los Alamos in '45, why? It's true. All that talent. We could have had the super bomb long ago. We wouldn't now be looking at Russian delivery systems and trembling. We were a good team. It was a good time to work.
It wasn't feasible then.
Feasible.
It wasn't even desirable. As a human matter, as a political matter.
As a strategic matter, you were dishonest. It's true in Los Alamos. Sitting on the desk like a Buddha, telling us to let the bomb be loosed. Telling us to trust you in what turned out to be lies.
No, Eugene, not lies. I was told the strategic situation, and they misled me.
Ah, you built the bomb and you wanted to see the fire. Misled.
I don't trust them anymore. They're your friends now, those comic strip Air Force patriots.
You sold me that first bomb.
I know.
You sold me that first bomb.
I know. Yes. I have dreams in which I feel what it must be like to be vaporized.
As an oracle, you fail.
What do you suppose it feels like, being vaporized?
It feels like nothing. Just having the super. Just having it would be protection.
Look, I'm not blocking you.
You're not supporting me.
All right. All right, I'll try. Within federal priorities, I'll recommend... Eugene, if you must follow your sweet design, do so. But don't be misled. Don't be the tool that I was.
Tell me who my masters are, Benji. You never say. You never say who pulled your strings, Benji.
No one does now.
No? Not the army?
And you with your pigeons, the flyers. Huh? Look, we both have egos. We both have been used.
But you are the master. You are the father of us all.
But then I had no one to tell me.
I have every right to despise you. Ah. There is nothing you can accuse me of that you haven't done.
A man died. He was the father of the great High Rabbi of Kiev. Now, the great High Rabbi of Kiev was the most fearfully holy rabbi in all of Russia. Saints trembled in his presence and felt unworthy. And when his father died and was dressed in his best linen in the coffin, the funeral eulogy was given by the son, the great High Rabbi of Kiev. And it was magnificent. Tears, anguish, exalted parables. Fantastic journey through the whole breadth of Talmudic law and literature. And when it was over and the old man was given to the ground, the rabbi of Moscow asked the rabbi of Vilna what he felt. And the rabbi of Vilna said, well, to tell the truth, it would have been much better if only the funeral eulogy had not been quite so brilliant. You may be a very wise man, Eugene, but I'm not your star of the nativity. And if I am the father in that respect, let it be buried with me. I don't want a brilliant son. Don't eulogize.
I will not be misled by you. I was not misled.
Would you say that was his intent?
I would say...
I must object, Mr. Crane. Dr. Janos is in no position to state with authority what my client's intent may or may not have been.
In an informal way, surely.
The man is under oath and hostile.
Well, let me make a point here. Dr. Janos, are you appearing here, sir, as a witness because you wish to be?
I appear here because I have been asked to and because I consider it my duty upon request to say what I think in this matter. I would have preferred not to appear.
Naturally not. Now then, Dr. Janos, you've known Dr. Benjamin very well, haven't you?
I have known Dr. Benjamin for a long time, since student days at Göttingen. I was closely associated with him in the summer of 1942 in connection with atomic energy work. Later, at Los Alamos, and after I knew him. After I did not frequently discuss in detail things outside technical matters.
Is it your intention to suggest in your testimony, for the sake of lucidity...
Lucidity?
That Dr. Benjamin was disloyal to the United States?
No, no. He is an intellectually most alert and very complicated person. I do not analyze his motives. I consider he is loyal to the United States. You would have to have conclusive proof.
I have a corollary question, which is, do you, or do you not, believe that Dr. Benjamin is a security risk?
He thinks he is God and moves in mysterious ways. Many times, some I've seen and others, his influence was felt. His actions were wrong, where the vital interests of this country were being endangered, where we violently disagreed because my program, our thermonuclear program, was being subtly and mischievously interfered with, we fell behind. If you ask me, should we continue his clearance? There are others in whose hands and judgment and wisdom I do trust, but not his. His lack of these qualities in recent years, having endangered this country, I should say wiser not to grant his clearance.
Not to grant clearance?
Wiser not to.
Yes. I also believe he should be castrated.
Invest in me, Benji. I'm a shaky kid. Tell my fortune.
You spent the night with her?
When was this?
In 1943.
Excuse me, the dates
You
are...
certainly remember.
I did see her.
Shalom. I told you they'd mash you. They'll mash you down, squeeze you out, put you through a sausage grinder and sell you by the pound.
I set my own prices.
You'll always need me, won't you? I won't be around.
Oh, do not die, for I shall hate all women so when thou art gone.
Stick around, Benji.
Feel my heart beat.
Only you're any good, Benji.
You spent the night with her, didn't you?
Yes.
Did you think that was consistent with good security? You were working on a secret project at the time.
Yes.
Then it wasn't good practice, was it? She was a communist at that time, wasn't she?
It was not discussed.
Well, she was in 1937.
And?
And when you spent the night with her in 1943, you had no reason to think she was not a communist, did you?
She was undergoing psychiatric treatment. She was extremely unhappy. She was still in love with me. She took me to the airport, and I never saw her again, as you know. Not long after, she took her own life. A few months. I was in New Mexico. I didn't hear for another 10. Will you destroy me with that? Or the hundreds of stupidities I freely confess? Is that all it takes?
Will you be responsive to the question?
I am being responsive to the question.
Play for sympathy. Took her own life. You have not, sir, addressed yourself to the question of your own actions.
My own victims?
Your own actions.
I don't...
Isn't it true that you've written poetry?
I have written poetry. It burns.
Would you care to recite for us?
I will not recite my poetry for you. But my greatest poem was Fire, and I wrote it on the marrow of living bones with a fountain pen full of liquid cancer, which you purchased for me at great, great expense.
Those were public funds.
Those were public funds.
And you admit you wrote poetry with public funds?
Many times. Hang me.
What did he say?
He's confessing.
Japanese verse, get to the important stuff. I've got more to confess.
You may resign. That avoids the hearing.
Coleman. Is that you, Coleman? Coleman, I need you. During the war, where were you?
What's he doing?
You intercepted Japanese communications. You knew they were trying to surrender.
Now we're in my field. Don't answer.
I won't.
Don't tell any secrets here.
Tell them all!
Don't bite the hand that feeds you, son.
Wendell, isn't it true that the petitions were on your desk? The Frank report was sitting on your desk.
Poor boy.
Answer me. Weren't they postponing the invasion?
That's not one of the charges.
You deal with your conscience. I'll handle mine.
I would never consent to these proceedings in any way. I would refuse.
That's no help. I want to be at peace.
Nothing in the universe is at peace. Everything is in motion. Space, curves. Existence is shaped like a donut.
Help me, please.
This is simply an informal hearing, Doctor. We don't offer redemption.
But I want to confess. I want to confess.
I'm practically a priest.
But you've got to ask the right questions. The charges are wrong. I need the right indictment. I will only confess true things. I will not confess to treason. I will not confess to subversion. I will not confess to harassment. I will not confess to chattering. I will not confess to comforting my enemy.
You wanted to father the bomb.
Yes.
Your passion is yourself.
Yes.
You rejected those who sheltered you?
Yes.
You betrayed the love that was your gift.
Yes.
You were an accomplice in murder?
But I never touched anyone. It was all done with my mind. Only my mind, not my hands, no blood.
That's right. He's so anxious to cooperate, it makes me sick.
Killer.
Oh, listen,
I hope you realize, Doctor, how lenient we are, considering the rules.
Will the world see it?
We'll see it. That's enough.
I'm the one. I want to bleed.
That's disgusting.
It's a ritual, Benji.
I want the world to see what I am.
Get one under your belt. Do you good.
I know I've always been too much in my mind, thinking instead of experiencing.
Only one.
I want the world to see it. This makes me free?
It may.
Then it may not.
Painless.
The momentum of war.
No harder than twisting a word.
I don't want to die.
Nobody wants to die, dear. There's cartilage there. Under the skin, the hyoid, that's the bone that breaks, isn't it?
Look.
Please don't take my life from me.
Now you see me, don't you? This is me. This is me. I know. One of many, Anne. This is me. Now you see me, don't you? There. I think I felt something. Get it done. Oh, do not die. For I shall hate all women so. I felt her dying. Beneath my fingers. Beneath my fingertips. Fingertip control.
I recommend you let them play their games and have nothing to do with it. I see no way.
Who wants a drink? A concoction?
There's no real hope of winning. I hate to see anyone go up against a fix. I would prefer nolo contendere. Not guilty, to hell with them. Why waste your money and your sensibilities? What are they going to find against you anyway?
The man wants to fight. You can't blame the man for that. I believe you can win, Benji, but you've got to make them play your ball game. You've got the public, and as long as you have public exposure, there's no way they can beat you. These charges would be hooted away by the press and the public. You've got to make the rules. You've got to yell foul the first time they foul you. I mean yell and scream, Benji.
Whiplash?
That's right. That's it.
And I am to be window dressing?
And that's what you'd be.
I'm opposed, but I'm willing, if you want to do it that way.
We find you not guilty of the charges as indicated in the letter, but we do find you guilty of other charges, which admittedly you have not been asked to defend against. Your primary guilt, we find, 2-1, was a lack of judicious enthusiasm. Since this is not a legal matter, we are not denying any right of appeal, but bending over backwards to safeguard your rights. We are passing the matter on to Commissioner Graybow, who will decide. Then, subsequently, to comfort the public, we plan another series of new charges for which no hearing will be held. But rest assured, you'll be guilty of them. That's the least we can do.
I'm sorry. We'll just proceed in the ordinary way.
But do we fight?
Whatever they ask of us, we do.
What, do we fight to win?
We behave.
You've got to make them fight your fight.
Benjamin's my name. Physics is my game.
At least let me do what I can.
No. No. For my sins, Arthur.
Whatever sins they were, Benji, they're not these. They don't call for this.
Whatever they were, I chose them. It's asking a little too much, I think, to be able to choose my punishment too. Have a little humility. I'm sorry for what it's going to be.
Have a little humility, Arthur.
So oft did chances in particular men, that carrying the stamp of one defect, their virtues else, be they as pure as grace, shall in the general censure take corruption from that particular fault.
I think we ought to begin, if everyone's ready. The stenographic reporter will be sworn first.
you.